women don't like to be in a relationship where, I'm not saying every case, by the way, I'm not saying every case, but oftentimes when you wind up in a situation where a guy is earning less money, the woman becomes uncomfortable in that dynamic, because women in many cases want the option to work, but they don't want to have to work. They want that flexibility. And again, men and women are different, and women do want to be able to lean on that guy. And there is a power dynamic shift that happens when it comes to money that, yes, the man feels, right? Because in his mind and in his body and in his testosterone, he's saying, I should be the man of this house. I should be taking care of X, Y, and Z. And now I'm not.
I disagree with this. I don't think this is a biological thing. I think that
you don't think that testosterone drives men to achievement in a way that women don't feel when it comes to career and otherwise?
I think that testosterone can be a component there, but the idea that men, because they're men, need to be the main breadwinner, I disagree with that. I think that that's largely a social thing. We tell men that you're a guy, you need to be the one going to work and making the money, when, again, there's been studies done back in the 1970s that found that when men are actually involved in the household chores, that stabilizes marriage. It benefits marriage. When they're in an equal partnership where both of them are equally respected and they both have a valid influence on the other partner, that benefits relationships.
You can be in a situation of mutual respect, though, where you're not equally sharing household chores. I mean, that's just...
Well, yeah, again, equal... Well, yeah, I'm giving you a definition.
You can be in a situation of mutual
there,
respect, and where a guy works and a woman stays home and is a housewife.
But why couldn't it be the other way around?
Well, you tell me. I mean, they should. The women who don't like that dynamic and the marriages that end as a result of it should tell me. I can't speak to that. What I can say is that women very oftentimes get into an uncomfortable dynamic when they are head of household. They don't want to be head of household.
But being the breadwinner doesn't necessarily mean you're the head of household. And I don't think that it should be one head of household. I think if you're a couple, if you're married, especially with children, you should be a unit. You should be in agreement. You should be working together.
There has to be a head of household, though.
Why?
There has to be, because ultimately, when you sit down at a table and you're making a decision, somebody has to greenlight that, right? So somebody, at the end of the day, you say you're going back and forth, you're going back and forth, you're going back and forth. There has to be a green light at the end of the day. Who's that going to be?
Well, it's going to depend on the decision being made. So there's sometimes where...
You sound like me in my first... Audience, does he not sound like me in my first interview with Rollo? I'm just saying. No, because I've gone through a little bit of a process here where I had to sit back and kind of think about this stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying there should ever be a situation of disrespect, but in a household where a woman makes more money, is in a position of authority, is in a more dominant role, you're going to have a problem in that household. You are. That woman is going to be very distracted away from that man by a guy over here who is expressing a more dominant masculine energy.
So when you say that men, or when you talk about the head of household thing, just to go back to that really quick, I think that this should, again, like what I just said, be dependent on the decision being made. So there's plenty of times where me and my wife might disagree on things, and then I kind of, explain my position and explain why, and then she gives hers, and then sometimes I'm like, you know what, that's a good point. I think that's a good idea. Let's go for it.
That's fine.
So, but that doesn't make her the head of household because she greenlit that decision.
No,
right?
It doesn't. But if there's...
We're working as a team. That's the goal.
But what is the energy in the house? Who has the dominant energy in the house? You can't have one person. There is a dominant energy in every house. Somebody has it.
I don't know what dominant energy is. That sounds like some hippie
Okay,
stuff.
let's put it into the bed. Is there a dominant energy in a bedroom? Does one person have a more dominant energy in a bedroom? A man or a woman? I'm not saying... I'm saying in every bedroom.
All of this is I just, the thing is, again, is that if you want to have those types of dynamics, it's fine, but it's the expectation that it should be that way that oftentimes results in the harm.
Here's all I'm saying, though. Is there a dominant energy? I'm not telling you men or woman. I'm saying in every household, in every bedroom, and it may look different, bedroom to bedroom, house to house. Is there a dominant energy, a more authoritative energy in those scenarios? I would say yes.
It would.
Somebody has to be more.
It would wholly depend on the household. I mean, there are some households where you're going to have the man who is like the ultimate authority. And when you're talking about the bedroom stuff, usually when it's been demonstrated that when women are expected to be submissive in that role, they have less than satisfying sexual experiences.
Women are not expected to be submissive. Women become submissive because it's appealing to them because they like a man to act like a man.
If they like that, then they don't report negative sexual satisfaction.
You cannot tell me that your statistics show that women want to run the bedroom. I
I
mean,
didn't
then
say,
you're
that's not what I said. What I said is the idea that because they're a woman, they must be the total submissive one.
But you're
here.
caught up.
That is leading to less than ideal sexual
so
experiences.
you're caught up in, and I see this as a trend, always societal expectations. And what I'm talking about is that men and women are different by nature of their biology and their hormonal makeup.
This
And
is
as
the
a
lazy.
result,
This is lazy.
it's not lazy.
This
It's,
is lazy.
it's science.
No, it's not. This
It
is
is,
the
though.
this is the lazy
It
way
is.
out.
You can show. You want to talk about studies? You can show studies of babies, newborns, male and female newborns that respond to stimuli differently.
Yeah.
You can show studies of
And male babies are
very
more emotionally
young-
responsive, by the way.
There was something about a study I saw recently about how newborn female babies respond more to faces and male babies responded more to mobiles, or something to that
They
effect.
tend to like using their hands,
Yes,
stuff
yes.
like that.
So they're different. Even the sex hormones that before they're even born, the sex hormones that comprise the makeup of the womb when it's a male womb versus when it's when there's a male inside the womb versus a female are different. So these things absolutely affect the brain chemistry of individuals.
I agree with this, but the reason I'm saying it's a lazy way out is to say, like a minute ago, you said like women don't like when they make more than the man.
I'm saying divorce happens in cases more often when women earn more.
That gap has closed, though. I already said that.
Reason for that,
no,
though.
because this is why it's the lazy way out. Is you're saying, oh well, it's probably just their biology that they prefer the man to be the breadwinner.
I'm not saying it's probably just their biology. I'm saying their biology and their hormones and the differences between men and women that are factually based, grounded in science, plays a role in it. I'm not saying society plays no role, by the way,
Yeah,
but I'm not saying society plays the exclusive role. So in other words, society impacts us.
Hold on, wait.
Go ahead.
The reason I'm saying it sounds like a lazy way out is, yes, there is a large societal component. If you are raised in an environment where you are taught that a good masculine man is the one who's providing, and then you end up being the one being the main breadwinner, that might make you uncomfortable. That's not because of the biology or her hormones or anything. It's because of the expectation that she has been socialized into.
That's silly.
It is not silly.
Now, by the way, and I will agree with you. I will agree with you that there is a social component to behavior.
I have to ask you a follow-up question. So it already has shown that, yes, there was a time where if the woman made more, particularly in the 1980s, that would raise the likelihood of divorce, usually because men felt insecure. That gap has now closed. That no longer is a risk. So if it was a biological factor, you would not see that gap close. Instead, society has been more accepting of women being top earners. And if the man is better at stay-at-home dad, he can be the stay-at-home one. And we're not seeing an increase in divorce.
What you're saying, this is the
disproves
underlying
your biological claim.
It's not a purely biological claim. I'm not saying that biology dictates everything. What I'm saying is that there are components of biology, components of just anatomy, like science, genes, chromosomes, hormones that play a role, and society impacts that as well. People are products of the society that they are raised in and grow up in, all of that. I think that both of those things come into play, and we can actually usher this right into our gender activism.
But this is why I feel like it's the lazy way, is because.
But why is that lazy to say that these two things
it's not the right
coexist and
answer.
have an impact?
But
it is.
Everybody's behavior is a mixture of their socialization and their biology. That's how humans are.
Right.
We are all a result.
But you have
of
a whole.
But
no. Hold on a second, though. We have a whole society of people in 2023 that don't acknowledge that biology exists. So we can't just assume.
Before we move on to that, the thing is, the problem, the reason this is lazy is because it's easier to be like, women prefer the man to be the breadwinner. It's probably or mostly biological. If that gap has closed, then somewhere the biology is no longer calling the shots.
So I would ask you,
clearly there is a social element here.
I would ask you, we would have to go and ask those people, what do those households look like? Are they happy? Are they in a functional, healthy relationship? What does that look like? If they're not
risk of divorce has gone down, then probably is
fine. Doesn't necessarily translate to that. I don't know. All I can say to you is that there is a like when we talk about, and I think the red pill community has certain interpretations of the word submissive. That's, some find controversial, whatever it may be. But if you're talking about a dynamic of men and women, I think that there is a discomfort. Why do women consistently say, they want a gentleman. What does that mean to be a gentleman? It means that there's a certain authority about you. You're opening doors. You're making sure she gets home okay. You are exhibiting a form of dominance in that relationship. Why do they consistently say that they want a guy that makes more than $100,000 a year? Because it's important to them that that guy be a financially stable rock to lean on. You don't see guys saying that about women. Why? Because they're not looking to lean on a woman in the same way that a woman is looking to lean on a man. That structure is absolutely present in society, not because society tells you, but because women are biologically inclined to be thinking about, first of all, our hormonal cycle does not enable us to be 9 to 5 crazy go-getters in the same capacity as men. It doesn't. Even when it comes to exercise, that's a reality. And secondly, our biology is ticking time, like a ticking time bomb toward, do I want a family? Do I want to have a baby, pregnancy, ups and downs of a menstrual cycle? All of that comes into play. And they know, because that biology is hooked into reality, they know that they want that flexibility to be able to stay at home and to be able to have that rock to lean on. Men don't have to think about any of that stuff. So that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is biology plays a role in what you prioritize and where your thought process goes, well beyond what society can tell you. In the same way that society can sit down and tell you that, men shouldn't care about body count because equality or something, it doesn't change the reality that men do care about body count, because that's coming from a hard wire within. Some of this stuff is intrinsic, not all, but some. There has to be a component of it that we acknowledge as intrinsic.
I mean, again, like I've said, obviously there is a degree of biology interacting with the society around you. But even when you say like women are just not as good at the 9 to 5 go-getters.
I didn't say not as good. I said not hardwired hormonally in the same way for a consistent 9 to 5 grind. And the reason for that.
But then why do women thrive in these circumstances? Why are women benefiting?
Are they thriving? Women are horribly unhappy. Horribly unhappy.
Wait, hold on. Everybody is unhappy right now.
Women are more unhappy now than they were 30 years ago.
Happiness rates in general are decreasing.
Here's what I'm talking to you about.
Yes, decreasing.
Testosterone looks like this. Testosterone, if you look at, I wish I had my hormonal thing. I'm really into hormones because I had irregular hormones for a while, so it led me to a lot of research. Testosterone is flat. It's steady, right? Mm-hmm. Which is why personal trainers, when they train women versus men sometimes, will look at guys and they can do a more of a consistent workout schedule. Women are like all like this, because we have all of these different phases of a hormonal cycle. Mm-hmm. They'll even structure workouts where they'll say women can't go hardcore in this phase. I don't remember, it's the luteal, or I don't know the details of that. But in this phase, they're more likely to need more rest. Like everything is designed around biology.
But that doesn't translate to them not being, or you said they're not, you said you didn't say they're not as good.
No, they're very good. They're very good. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm saying I've done studies also where I showcase that women are fantastic multitaskers. And when you put a bunch of tasks in front of women, they're more likely to be able to complete a number of tasks at once. I think it was. I have to pull that study again. But we basically showed that women are an asset in the workplace in these regards.
Yeah.
However, we're not wired for it in the same way because of biology. And that is why you have women constantly trying to, I call it like feminized workplaces, like Bagel Friday, and we need a break for this, and let's have it more team building. And they do this.
But that's been a thing for a while, right? Like bagels on the workplace.
We do this to spaces because we need it. Because biologically, our body is telling us, give us more work-life balance.
I have a lot of issues with what you're saying right now. I am not denying that there is a biological component. I'm not denying that women have hormonal fluctuations that differ from men. I'm not denying any of that. We would need to look at how that translates to their behavior in the workforce. You'd have to look at, is it actually causing problems? Is it actually not causing problems? You would have to look at that. You can't just say women are hardwired this way. Well, hold on, one more thing. And even more so, even if someone's hardwired to be a certain way, I don't know if that's necessarily, if that means that that's exactly the way that they should live. A lot of the times, if we're going to appeal to nature, the way that we just kind of are, doesn't always translate to, well, then you should behave that way.
Oh, female cannot compete with male testosterone. Male testosterone is a driver toward action. It is, first of all, it's what makes men healthy, right? Testosterone is so important to, it's been demonized, right? I think it was who was it? James Cameron that said like testosterone is toxic recently. We covered that, but that's another garbage thing. But testosterone is key for you, for how your anatomy thrives, your
So you think I have
organs, your
testosterone then?
bones.
Yes.
Well, I would hope so.
Take that,
I mean,
red pillars.
who knows in 2023, maybe you identify as a cat, who knows? But, testosterone is vital for you, but testosterone is incredibly powerful. It's a driver of ambition. It's a driver in a way that female hormonal makeup is not. That is why men go into these work environments, and you don't need a study to show this. You just need eyes and ears. They will go in, they will be hardwired to work 15, 16, 17-hour days. There is a drive there that comes from biology.
56% of women right now reported in the latest Gallup poll,
they
have said that they want to go into the workforce.
Of course.
Not that they have to.
Of course.
They want to.
Of course.
So is that not an ambition?
There is your societal impact. If you like the short clip and want to watch another short clip, click here. Or if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.